Please, my name is Jessica and welcome to Makeup Misfit. Today, I have a tag video for you guys. This has resurfaced over the last couple of months or so, and I believe it was originally created by Samantha March and Ali Glines. I have seen quite a few people do this, so I wanted to jump in on this one this time around. I may have done this in the past. I honestly can't remember, but I do have a tag video playlist, which I will link down below. So if I have done it before, it will be on that playlist. But I am excited to get into this video. I wanted to do this after I posted my eyeshadow palette collection video so you guys could see everything that I have, and then I wanted to go through that and just pick out the palettes that best fit these answers for me right now. So I do have everything sitting beside me here. I do have my questions off to the side. So we are going to get on into this because I am looking forward to it. So the very first question is your all-time favorite palette. Now, if you saw my collection video, this may not come as a surprise to you, but when I was going through all of my eyeshadow palettes, surprisingly, this is the one that I ended up choosing, and it kind of makes sense because I repurchased my Soft Glam palette back on Black Friday, and I never really thought that I would actually repurchase an eyeshadow palette. There have been a few in my collection that are now discontinued that I really wanted a backup of. I never did repurchase them, and I'm okay with that. But for me to repurchase this palette, it must have meant something. This was one of my Pan That palettes back in 2021, and I think I completed it maybe a year or so after that. I had quite a lot of use on this by the end of 2021. There was just a few shades left over that I wanted to get a little bit more use on, but I have not had this palette in my collection for a few years now. And there's just been something about this that I've been really wanting to repurchase it. I have missed it. So for me to go that long without an eyeshadow palette and eventually repurchase it, I believe this is the only one I've ever done that with. It obviously must have been special to me. So I think that makes a very good reason for it to be my all-time favorite palette. For a new favorite. Now, I wasn't quite sure which one I wanted to go with, but I decided to select my Rich Romantics palette by Glaminatrix. It is so pretty. I love the color story and how bright and springy it is. I am really looking forward to having this in Project Level Up, hopefully sometime soon. And I'm really looking just to get a lot more use on it. This shade here has a really nice dip going in it, so I'm going to be excited to hit pan. When I did reach for this palette before, I know I've used every shade in here, I think. Maybe not. I can't remember what I did with it, but I really did enjoy it. And I think it's definitely the formula that I really, really enjoy. I love Glaminatrix. I have a couple eyeshadow palettes from them. I have a few singles from them. So it is definitely like a brand that I really enjoy. And I just thought that I really love this color story. So this is definitely one of my new favorite palettes. A palette that I keep for the memories is my ColourPop Lizzie McGuire What Dreams Are Made Of palette. I threw this in my memories box last year. I just absolutely loved Lizzie McGuire. Now, or Hilary Duff even. Now I have completely finished off this shade. This one does have pan. I don't think I'm ever really going to reach for this palette much anymore, so that's why I put it in my memories box. But again, it is just, you know, so nostalgic that I couldn't get rid of it, and I don't want to get rid of it. But I don't think I'm actually going to use it. So it's definitely one that I hold on to for nostalgia memories. One that I think is underrated. Now, granted, this is the only Violet Voss palette that I have, so I don't know the formula throughout the rest of their palettes. But I do have the Mini Care Bears palette, and I love this palette. Again, it's in for Project Level Up, and I really enjoyed it every time I wore this palette. I loved the eye looks that came out of it. The color story is super cute. I have a nice dip going on in Champ Bear. I don't know. I think that this is just a palette that I think is underrated. Again, I haven't tried any of their other palettes, so I don't know what their formula is like across the board. But I really do think that this palette specifically is definitely underrated because I really, really enjoyed it. And I just loved how easy it was to work with. And even though it's definitely not like a cohesive like color story, it is, but it's more of like a companion palette. I was able to get some really pretty looks out of it just using this palette and not pairing it with anything else. So for that reason, I really enjoyed it and think it's underrated. Something that's not a favorite, but I can't get rid of. my Natasha Denona Love palette, I definitely don't love it. It's not a favorite by any means, but I don't want to get rid of it. There's nothing that's kind of like making me want to ever get rid of it. It was my very first Natasha palette. I do enjoy some of the colors in here. There's a lot that I'm not going to ever try and use, and I'm okay with that. But there's just something about it that's I've been holding on to, even though I don't really do declutters. The odd time that I do, or anytime I see this palette, I'm like, I don't think I want to wear it, but I don't want to get rid of it. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it's the first Natasha palette. I don't know if because there's a lot of pinks in here, and I really enjoy pink. It is one of my favorite shades, but even on my eyes, sometimes I like it more than I think I'm going to. So I'm not entirely sure what it is about this palette, but I definitely don't want to get rid of it, even though it's definitely not a favorite. My favorite collab palette is honestly probably one of the only like creator and brand collabs that I have, and that is the Amrezy palette by ABH. It is messy, but this is what mine is looking like. Again, you guys probably saw these if you watch my collection videos, but this is, again, the only collab palette that I have with a creator and a brand, besides like my Lizzie McGuire palette or my Care Bears palette, which is more of like a collab with a TV show. I wanted to find something that was more of a creator collab, and this is the only thing that I was able to really come across. But I do really enjoy it, so even if it wasn't my only one, I'm sure it would still be my absolute favorite. Okay, my 2025 favorite. I am pulling out the Sugar Drizzle Sugar Dreams palette, even though it's an all shimmer palette and that's not really my style of palette. I absolutely loved this. I absolutely adored wearing a lot of these pink tones right here. This one was really pretty. This one I liked. These two in pan are opposite for the most part of what they actually look like on the eyes. The only shade in here that I don't really like is this green one. But I loved wearing this palette last year. I hit 5 pans, which was really exciting. And I definitely could have continued wearing this to get more use out of it, to expand the pans a little bit. I had a lot of fun wearing this, and I think it was probably definitely one of my favorite palettes from last year. A palette that I didn't expect to love, I have the Afterglow palette from NARS. I had never tried a NARS eyeshadow palette before. I got this off of Poshmark. I figured I would like it, but because I had never tried the formula, I wasn't too sure what to expect. And when I wore this last year, I really enjoyed it. I thought it blended beautifully. I really loved, how I paired the colors together. I think I went like row by row. Everything was so pretty. It was definitely a lot more than what I was expecting. I know I've heard good things about their eyeshadows, but because I had never tried them, I wasn't too sure what to expect. And I was like thoroughly pleased and enjoyed the fact that I had actually started to wear this eyeshadow palette. I haven't worn it since, so I do want to get more use on it because I just really, really enjoyed it. So I am happy that I have this. Then a palette that sparks joy. Even though it's new to my collection and I still have not used this, this is the Unoriginal News by Bella Beauté Bar, and it sparks joy because it is Mean Girls themed. Like, it is burn book. It is so fun. Like, that is one of the reasons why I wanted this palette. Obviously, the color story is absolutely beautiful. Still haven't swatched it. We will get there one day, but it's not even like the color story that sparks the joy. It is the packaging. It is the fact that it is like so pink, but it's burn book. It is literally like Mean Girls through and through. I absolutely love this. Every time I look at it, I just smile. It just brings back memories as well, but this was definitely one that I'm glad I brought into my collection, even though I haven't used it yet, but it's one that every time I look at, I'm just like, it makes me so happy. So then the newest palette to my collection, sorry, is my Natasha Denona I Need a New palette. I did receive this for Christmas. I have not used it yet, but I do think that it's definitely going to be a go-to palette once I do start reaching for it. It's definitely going to be like more than likely an easy everyday palette. I'm not there yet. I'm not ready, ready to reach for it yet, but this one is the newest one to my collection. The first palette that I used in 2026, I honestly am not entirely sure, but I do know that I was reaching for this a lot because I was trying to hit pan in the shade Topaz here and expand the pan in Hot Cocoa. So I was wearing this a lot at the time. So the Becca Eyelights palette is more than likely what my first palette in 2026 was. Now the choose a collab question. Choose a collab with. I went by brand. I wasn't entirely sure how to take this one, but I decided I would enjoy, I think, going with Glamlight just because of like how fun their packaging is and their color stories. I love this palette so much. I know there's been a lot that they've done, like the horror ones that I just like wasn't interested in whatsoever. A lot of them looked the same, but I think like this era is what I would have really enjoyed. I love the fact that there's like the sprinkles in the ice cream, like just the creativity that went behind this packaging alone, I think is really fun. And I think like for that reason, I would have loved to have like a fun packaging palette if that's what I ended up ever collabing to do. And then last but not least, a palette I would redo and why. And as much as I love this palette, I do want to just say that they have actually redid this palette, but I don't have the new version to compare to. So out of the one that I have, as much as I love my Glam & Agix Nearly Naturals palette, I would slightly redo this. And I came up with this palette because I actually used this one on my birthday. And I used this shade and these two, but I would have liked one more lighter, like mauve pinky toned. Like maybe get rid of this shade down here because for me it's too dark and I'm not going to wear it. And maybe put in a lighter mauve shade or like more of a little bit of like lighter than this. And I would have been happy. Again, I know that they did actually redo this, so I was contemplating pulling this one in, but when I was looking through my eyeshadow palettes, I'm like, I like that this is a 15 pan palette. I never purchased the newer version of this palette because it was a little bit too much. Like I wanted it, but I was like, I already have this one. I don't need the other one. So it's just one small change. I don't need like a whole other set of row of eyeshadows or however many extra they had added. I just want like this one small little change. I do think like the color story is beautiful the way that it is, but I think like I could have used one extra shade of this. But then again, if you switch that out, then that's really the only dark shade that you have in here, which I'm okay with. But I do see how it could like throw off the color story a little bit as well. But I don't know. I think for myself, I would have enjoyed just one more, a little bit lighter than that, just to kind of build it up, throw it more in the transition. This could be my crease, and then I would put these two all over the lids. I could reach into this shade, but it's just not really the same because I pair it more with this and do more of a neutral look. But yeah, this is what I would choose. Just one very small little change. And that is that. Those are the eyeshadow palettes that I selected for this tag. I really do hope that you guys have enjoyed this. If you have done this tag video, let me know down below because I would love to come and check you out. And let me know if you want to just answer the questions in the comments, or one of them or a couple of them. Let me know because I would love to see what your answers are. And that is that. So I will try to remember to put the questions in the description box. And that is everything. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys all later. Bye.